It's a Big Ten day, so I'm wearing my Rose Bowl shirt, and we're going without the sleeves today. It's Saturday, and I love doing shows on Saturday because you can do almost anything you want to do within reason. But as it stands, there is a bit of news that I wanted to talk about, and that's why you're probably going to be like, yo, RJ, another Ohio State segment. I'm going, dog, it moves me because it's the number one team in my Ultimate 134. And for those of y'all that got some feelings about it, did a segment yesterday about Oklahoma, done segments about Michigan. Hell, I did a segment about Liberty and the G5 just earlier for the Saturday 11 a.m. segment that we put up. But look, I wanted to talk about Ohio State because we now are seeing this program really round into shape for what we can expect in 2024. And after finding out that Will Howard is starting quarterback earlier this week, we now know who the captains are going to be for the Ohio State Buckeyes. And I got to tell you, there's a couple in here that I was kind of surprised by. I'm sure Buckeye fans are not surprised at all. But reason we're going to talk about this and why I want to do this segment is, what does it reveal about Ohio State, what they think of themselves, and what we can take from what they think of themselves. So you got a senior-laden squad of 4 permanent captains that include wide receiver Emeka Egbuka, running back TreVeyon Henderson, defensive end Jack Sawyer, and linebacker Cody Simon. Cody Simon also was awarded the O-Block jersey, which is a signifier, right? That is the guy that you were going to rally around in 2024. And as the Mike in Jim Knowles' defense, one of those guys that you really need to play well. And also, he had already said he wanted to return and he wanted to help lead this 2024 Ohio State team because he was the first guy with actual good NFL draft evaluations who said, no, I'm coming back to Ohio State. There is business that they need to stand on if they are going to do what they want to do, which is win their gold pants and win a national championship. Getting to the Big Ten championship, winning that, I'm sure that's on it. But for our purposes, you got to beat Michigan on November 30th, and then you got to find a way to get to January 20th and give yourself an opportunity to win the whole damn thing for the first time since 2014. And this is also another pivotal year, and Ohio State knows how to do a pivotal year in the sport. First year of the college football playoff, Urban Meyer ran Ohio State all the way to the national championship, and they won the damn thing. It's the first time that we're seeing an extended playoff of 12 teams from 4, and I think Ohio State has loaded up to do exactly that. That's why I believe they have the best opportunity to win the national championship. It's why I rank them number 1. And if you go take a look at the 134, 1 through 134 is there, and you should take a look at it the way that I put it together, which is these are the programs I think have the best opportunities to win the national championship given their path, given their schedule, given their personnel, given their coaching staff, given their administration right here, right now. Start with wide route in Emeka Egbuka, who leads the most talented wide receiver room in the entire country. Last year, 74 catches, 1,151 yards. That dude could do it all. He was one of the better all-purpose players in the sport just 2 years ago, and a number 1 wide receiver prospect coming out of high school. Until the arrival of Travis Hunter, you're talking about Emeka Egbuka being one of those guys that can do everything and probably wins the Paul Hornung Award. However, he needs just 78 catches this year to take over the number 1 spot for all-time catches at Ohio State from KJ Hill, who had 201. And he could pass Michael Jenkins for the most receiving yards by a wide receiver at Ohio State in an Ohio State jersey. I think, that 2022, that was 2022 that he had 74 catches, 1,151 yards, not 2023. 2023 was the year of Marvin Harrison Jr. and Kyle McCord basically being able to throw the ball to him. They also couldn't run the ball very well, and there was lots of reasons as to why. One of those is we were wondering what happened to TreVeyon Henderson because, really not a whole lot happened. He rushed for 926 yards. He just was not the kind of back that we expected him to be, which is the dude he showed himself to be in 2021 when he rushed for 1,200 yards. I think that we're finding out a lot about what happens for him the last couple of years and why this year is so important to him, and he's given a lot to it. I could do a whole segment on TreVeyon Henderson battling sleep paralysis, which is a nightmarish disease. Like, you wake up, you can't move. And I can only imagine how that feels and what he has had to train himself to do and the faith journey that he's gone on to try to find a way to sleep without fear, right? He's also playing at a university, in a program that demands excellence above all. I think that him being named a captain has really shown the rest of the program what he is truly about. And on top of being one of the most explosive players in all of college football, he's now one of your unquestioned leaders. And that's tremendous in a room that is marked by new dudes, but dudes that have done stuff. Like Carlos Lachlan is another guy I could do an entire segment about, because I genuinely believe that that's going to be one of Ohio State's favorite new coaches, right? Aside from Chip Kelly and whatever he's going to do, that man is from Alabama. And it comes out in his demeanor. It comes out in his charisma. It comes out in his energy and the demands that he is placing on these players. Like my favorite quote is, "You can't put no soft-baked cookies around me." I love that. And TreVeyon Henderson earning this spot means that he ain't one of those. It means that he's one of those hard dudes in his room. It's one of them, like Quinshon Judkins, like James Peoples. He expects him to be great. And I'm excited about that for him. I'm also looking at Simon, who, joined Jack Sawyer, and Simon, who is going to be behind a Jack Sawyer, who also wanted to come back and help corral this group in 2024. Second half of the season, Jack Sawyer had 16 tackles, 7.5 tackles for loss, 5 sacks, and a strip sack in the final 3 games of the season. Like that, he's coming on in a big way. There's a lot of reason as to why many people have kind of flipped JT Tuimoloau and Jack Sawyer in their power rankings, and I'm going, I don't care. Whichever one you want at A, I'm going to take it B, and whichever one you want to take, it doesn't matter. They're both really great, but you're also talking about a guy that, again, ascended to the rank of captain. And captains at some places, I don't really put a lot of stock into them. At some places, they rotate it. You know, it's the guy that gets to go out for the coin toss and not screw up saying heads or tails. For others, it is a year-round understanding that this is your team leader. And when you guys are doing things out in public, when you guys are doing things behind closed doors, this is the person that is leading, right? Often it's the person that's breaking it down. It's the first person in is the last person out. To have these guys as your captains who are also wildly talented says quite a bit. I mean, last year, the captains were Xavier Johnson, Tommy Eichenberg, Cade Stover. And I'm thinking, okay, I believe Tommy Eichenberg is a player. I know Xavier Johnson was that guy, that ultimate team guy. And Cade Stover's great tight end. But I'm looking at this group, and I know that behind Emeka Egbuka is Jeremiah Smith, is Mylan Graham, is Brandon Ennis, is Carnell Tate. We can keep going down the line, right? I know Tyleik Williams is in the middle of that defense. I know Caleb Downs is on the back end of that defense. I know Denzel Burke and Davison Igbenison are on the outside. I know that Will Howard is a guy that's going to be asked to lead this program and as a grad transfer, and yet these are the guys you're coming with, the guy that he's going to be handing the rock to in that backfield. I think there's a lot of good to take from this, and I think that Ohio State is signaling to the rest of the world, these are our values. These are the guys that we think best uphold our values. And our values are winning, being talented, and being relentless in our effort. The last thing that I think I need to hammer with this is by picking a defensive end and a linebacker to go along with a wide receiver and a running back tells you a lot of what they're going to do, right? They want to be fast. They want to run the ball, but they mostly want to be tough. And I think a wide receiver being a captain means you are tough. Wide receiver ain't usually a tough position, right? It's a prima donna position. It's a get off of blocks position, go catch the ball. You never really asked to do any of the dirty work. But you apparently have one in Emeka Egbuka. You have more than a guy that's going to try to run to the sideline and get upfield in TreVeyon Henderson. You got a guy that wants to get between the tackles. And then do I need to say a dude in the trenches for Larry Johnson Sr. and a guy behind him who was going to fill on rundowns going, hey, you're running ISO. It's my job to meet you in the hole. That's what they got. I'm excited for them. I'm excited for Ohio State fans. And we'll see what the season brings for us, for them.